Kelly Ann Bates was born on May 18th in 1978. She lived in the town of Hattersley in Manchester, England. At the age of 17, she was murdered by her abuser, James Patterson Smith. James is now about 74 or 75 years old. When committing the crime, he was 49 years old. He was an unemployed divorcee living in the Gorton area of Manchester. He was described by acquaintances as house-proud and well-groomed. He was a teetotaler and a non-smoker. His marriage ended in 1980 after 10 years because he had become violent towards his wife. His next relationship was with 20-year-old Tina Watson. Between the years 1980 and 1982, he used her as a punch bag, even subjecting her to severe beatings while she was pregnant with his child. She said, "At first it was now and again, just a little tap, but in the end it was every day. He would smack me in the face or hit me over the head with an ashtray. He would kick me in the legs or between the legs." Tina had managed to escape from the relationship, during which James had also attempted to drown her while she was bathing. When that relationship had ended in 1982, James then started seeing 15-year-old Wendy Mottershed, whom he also abused. In one attack, he held her head underwater in the kitchen sink in an attempt to drown her. In 1993, James began grooming Kelly when she was 14 years old, having met her while she was babysitting for friends. About 2 years later, when she had left school, she moved in with James at his home in Furnival Road, Gorton. She was concealing the age difference between them from her parents, Tommy and Margaret Bates. Her mother talked about her first meeting with James that had happened after they had moved in together. She said, "As soon as I saw James, the hairs on the back of my neck went up. I tried everything I could do to get Kelly away from him." Although she had left him briefly because of arguments with him, she was once again living with him by the end of November 1995. Her parents noticed bruises on her, which she explained away as being the results of accidents. She became increasingly withdrawn and in December 1995 resigned from her part-time job. In March 1996, her parents received cards from her for their anniversary and a birthday card, but only James had written in them. When Kelly's brother tried to see her at the house, James said she was not at home. When a concerned neighbour asked about her, she was briefly shown at an upstairs window. On April 16, 1996, James reported to authorities that he had accidentally killed his girlfriend during an argument in a bathtub, claiming that she had inhaled water and died following his attempts at CPR. He also claimed that she often pretended to be unconscious. The police went to his address and found Kelly's naked body in a bedroom. Her blood was found throughout the house, and a post-mortem examination revealed over 150 separate injuries on her body. During the last month of her life, she had been kept bound, sometimes tied to a radiator or furniture by her hair, other times by her neck using a ligature. The pathologist who examined her body said, "In my career, I have examined almost 600 victims of homicide, but I have never come across injuries so extensive. The injuries found on Kelly's body are as follows. There was scalding to her buttocks and her left leg, burns on her thighs caused by a hot iron, a fractured arm, multiple stab wounds caused by knives, forks and scissors, stab wounds inside her mouth, crush injuries to both hands, mutilation of her ears, nose, eyebrows, mouth, lips and genitalia, wounds caused by a spade and pruning shears. Both of her eyes were gouged out. Later stab wounds to the empty eye sockets were found, and partial scalping. The pathologist determined that her eyes had been removed not less than 5 days and not more than 3 weeks before her death. She had been starved, having lost about 20 kilos, and had not received water for several days before her death. The prosecutor at the trial said it was as if he deliberately disfigured her, causing her the utmost pain, distress, and degradation. The injuries were not the result of one sudden eruption of violence. They must have been caused over a long period and were so extensive and so terrible that the defendant must have deliberately and systematically tortured Kelly Ann Bates. The cause of death was drowning, immediately prior to which she had been beaten about the head with a shower head. James denied murder and claimed Kelly would put me through hell winding me up. He also claimed that she had taunted him about his dead mother and had a bad habit of hurting himself to make it look worse on me. When asked to explain why he had blinded, stabbed, and battered Kelly, he said she had dared him to do it, challenging him to do her harm. A consultant psychiatrist told the court that James had a severe paranoid disorder with morbid jealousy and lived in a distorted reality. The jury at Manchester Crown Court took 1 hour to find James guilty of Kelly's murder, sentencing him to life imprisonment. The judge recommended that he serve a minimum of 25 years. He stated, "This has been a terrible case, a catalogue of depravity by one human brought upon another. You are a highly dangerous person. You are an abuser of women, and I intend, so as far as it is in my power, that you will abuse no more." The jury were offered professional counselling to help them deal with the distress of seeing the photographs of Kelly's injuries and the sickening violence of the case. Every single member of the jury accepted the counselling. That's it for today's case, and I'll definitely see you for the next one. Do let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments below.